Hello, welcome to Real Healing Methods Spiritual Academy TV show podcast. We are here to serve as a beacon of light. Our mission is to help listeners and viewers better understand how they have so much support and love from the other side, the unseen world of the angels, of the guides, of master teachers. There is, and birds and animals, and there's so much that is here to help us. We just have to ask for help. And let's don't forget God, the creator of all. Let's ask God for support. So this is for our lives, provide spiritual guidance and give hope. I'm here in each episode. We'll share uplifting, inspirational, empowering to assist in raising your vibration. Whether you're a seasoned expert on what we're talking about, or this is a new journey for you, this TV podcast has something for everyone. So sit back and just enjoy. With that, let's begin. We started this spontaneous way to do my podcast. And I'm very grateful for Kathy to volunteer to say, okay, I'll do it if I have to. But really, you're enjoying it, right? I mean, it it's
I
good.
am. I am. I enjoy it, but I'm a little nervous not knowing what's coming next. So that's up to you, I guess.
Well, it's okay. It's all right because I find being spontaneous allows the light, the angels, the communication with your soul and your intuition to guide. Now, I do have a topic, so that'll help. And I just want to tell everyone briefly that if you didn't watch last week, you might want to do that. It posted on Sunday. And Kathy, I did a live meditation last week, but she was the only one accidentally that had the right link. That was a Zoom copying link issue. And so she came on and I thought, well, let's just use our time. Let's record this and do a podcast. I've been a host for podcast on and off since 2012. And so I love having a guest on. And I love interviewing and that kind of a setup. So the TV part of it, my guides, the angels who coach me, they said for me to just do my own show to build who I am. So people know that I'm an expert in the spiritual arena in all this teaching. And so, but it's time now. I was getting kind of bored just being the only one talking. And it is about the format is having people, everyday people on their spiritual path that want to advance and wake up to all that they are. And so this is an opportunity for them to share with you what it's like for them. And the point and hoping that you can relate to this. And you raise your hand and say, okay, I want to do this because we're here to help each other to grow and to expand. So, with that, Kathy, thank you very much for being here. Anything you would like to share about yourself?
No, thank you for having me, Judy. I just would say that I am a novice and I have just had over a lifetime a series of spiritual experiences that I was not aware of initially until I had probably two or three or four, and then I woke up to the fact that this is real, you know. I'm getting messages from someone that I cannot see, some intuition, some visions that after a period of time you just can't ignore. You have to say, you know, this is really real and this is happening to me and I can't believe it. So it helps to have someone like you, Judy, you say, yes, you're right, or, just affirmation for the things that do occur that are shocking, really.
Yes, yes. How long have you been getting messages and how do you get them?
Well, like I say, some have just been visions. Some have interrupted my dreams. I say they interrupt, they're not like dreams. They're something that I never forget. I can always recall vividly what occurred. Some have just been a knowing, just a knowing that keeps in my head, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. Some I have just seen, I guess, with my third eye suddenly in front of my face. You know, it's just there. I haven't figured out how it doesn't obscure my vision. I mean, I've never ran a car off the road when it happened or anything. Uh,
It won't because that's not how they do. Angels don't do that
I
that
know.
way.
I don't know
Yeah.
how that occurs, but it does. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, they are so loving and so pure, the purest, purest love
mm,
that they will make sure that you're not in a predicament when they give you information, that you'll be
right.
able to do it. So you've been doing this for years, getting information.
Well, I guess the first time that I'm aware of, I was about 30 years old. So I'm
A long
72.
time,
So
a long
yeah,
time.
it's been a while. But there's a space, a wide space of time in between occurrences and happenings, at least that I'm aware of. I believe things happen all the time that are miraculous that we just don't acknowledge, we're not aware of. But
Okay, let me ask you this. You have a Christian background
yes.
and grew up in the church
Mhm.
very, very much. Every Sunday, your family was very dedicated to the
Right.
church, to God, to Jesus, right?
Hmm.
And so, how does that work? I know you don't go to church currently a lot right now, but how does that, share with the listeners that have been very much like you, that know and feel there's something so much more, and they're not for sure where to turn or what to do. So you're here to help them.
Yeah.
So how does that blend with your religion? And I think you're more than religion, right? I mean, it's not
I
really,
don't
it's
like the word
spiritual.
religion,
Yes.
really. Yeah. Because you can be religious about anything. And some religions have been very detrimental, I believe, to people. I think from even when I was very, very young, I mean, I just always believed in God. There was never any doubt in my mind. And I know when my mother was pregnant with my sister, I would have been 4 then. There's 5 years between us. Um, I just knew she was going to be a girl. And I knew God told me that. And I was telling everybody, and grandparents are saying, what do you want? What do you want? And I said, it's a girl. Well, they were worried because they thought, what if it's a boy? She's going to be so disappointed. But there was never any doubt in my mind. I just knew it. And she was. That stuck with me, even though I was very young, because I think I really did know that. And as I got older and got married, I attended a different type of church where they believed that you had to have this moment where you were saved. And that kind of upset me for years because I thought, I can't pick out a moment because I've always believed in God. I always felt like I had a relationship there. I always talked to Him. I can't negate my past by saying, oh, this moment is when I was saved because I thought it was always. I just felt that way. Now, I don't know if that's different from anybody else or not. Not that I was always perfect, I'm not saying that. But I always did think somebody was watching everything I did and said. I always felt like I needed to be accountable for whatever I did. Um, I just believe anybody should just talk to God like you do your mother, your sister, your brother, anytime, anywhere, anything, with gratitude or with a problem. That's worked for me.
I love it. I thank you very much for
Sure.
opening up and sharing so much. Did you grow up thinking God was to be feared?
No, I really didn't. No,
Because the Bible and the Old
I
Testament did
know.
that.
And
Yeah.
there are churches who really hit on that strongly. But no, my parents never promoted that. I think for one thing, that was not, no, I never had any fear of God. And he has helped me so much. I mean, when my first husband passed away, I was totally devastated. We were so close. In our early 20s, we had battled serious health issues, but we both worked. He continued to work. He had diabetes and he lost his eyesight. He had a leg amputated. He had a kidney transplant. It didn't matter. He still worked every day and we still had a good life. But when that happened, I was, even though I knew it was going to happen, devastated. And I just thought I cannot go to the funeral home. And I just couldn't. I couldn't talk to anybody. I couldn't focus on anything else. But God gave me that peace that passes understanding that day. And I sat there and smiled through the whole service because I was thinking he would have been so proud to hear what people were saying about him. And I'm sure he did. And it was just a wonderful tribute to him. And I sat there and was just taking it in and had such comfort and such peace that you can't describe.
That's beautiful. That's
It was amazing.
yeah, and the soul, the soul, which is the oneness within us, right? It's there's been a lot held back by us. History of control, manipulation, of all this energy that goes back to the first humans. And it's I bring it up because it's time, things are changing. And so at some point, there was manipulation to keeping us from communicating straight with our soul nonstop. And that is coming off. That
Great.
seal is being
Yeah.
removed. And God says it will take time. It's all done in perfection. And if you notice God, if anyone listening knows of the miracles and what you've experienced with Christ or God, um, it's always love. It's always perfect. The messages, if they come from God, if they come from your guides, if they're coming straight through, it's all love. There is nothing to scare you. There is no fear. If you're listening to a message online that does have some, oh God, I'm a little creeped out or scared, that's not coming from God. That's coming from an ego. So, that's a good pointer for people to understand and to know, and you want to make sure your source is pure, and it sounds like yours are, for sure. The thing my point of all this is that is being like, we can still get to enlightenment. We can do what Christ did, what Buddha did, a lot of the masters do, but even they had a seal that was not off,
Mm.
but they bypassed it to keep going. So that tells us in a duality world that we can still advance and still connect to our oneness of God. The soul is always with you. It's God. It's a part of God. God is everything. And when I say everything, we're talking the flowers, the butterflies, the birds, that peace in nature. It's there. And it comes through. What happens, people might forget that aspect of themselves when they come across as being naughty, but the truth is, they've just forgotten. And so it's that the soul is that communication. So you've been having communication with your soul. And that's my best description. Not that the angels don't come in, Not that God doesn't come in, not that master teachers don't, but I want you to even be aware of talking to your soul. It's like you're talking to yourself, but to yourself, just soul, I love you. What is your name? I want a name. Like I want names. It's just humanness. We want names.
Yeah.
And so it's okay to ask those questions. And it's okay to have that kind of communication, just so you know. And you're definitely connected to her, big time. You really, really are. And when I get woken up in the middle of the night, usually after 3, not always, they are messages coming from my soul. And I'll ask a question and then I'll wait, and I want an answer. And she is like right on top of it. So I'm really looking forward to this nonstop conversation.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah, so that's the gift that God, the creator, the great one is gifting us. It's huge. It's absolutely huge that as time goes on, it will spread more and more and more communication. Have you noticed since you have the vessel, the crystal vessel that was encoded by God, have you noticed that you any changes?
I really haven't yet, and I can say honestly, I haven't.
Okay. All right. Just they'll come in, they're subtle. I will lay the crystal, the vessel on me, on my body where I feel like my body needs extra support,
Hmm.
and it opens up the energy. That's what I have found. And I have found that I can, and I've done so much healing on myself and all this advanced work anyway, but I still, with the vessel, I know what it's doing. I know it is radiating love for miles and miles and miles. So my question this week, would you be willing to focus on the energy and see if you notice the difference? And that's just the communication with God.
The energy from the vessel.
Uh-huh. It's
Yeah.
it's encoded for you and your DNA, and you're getting information. Yes.
Yes, I would love to.
Yeah, and so it wouldn't be unusual that if more messages are coming in, and then ask, like you already do, asking God, just keep asking. For needing some help or whatever it is.
Right. Yeah, I will do that.
Yes, because you're very, very connected to source, to the creator. And gosh, yeah, you've got big things for you. I see you
Really.
dressed like, Easter is about, for me, Easter is it's transformation. And I feel that you are getting ready for even a larger transformation in your life.
Mm,
That's what I'm picking up.
well, I hope so. I hope so.
Yes, well, even doing this, when you told me you got a message to not turn down any opportunities, right?
Right. Yes, don't be afraid. Step into it. That God
Wow.
doesn't call the qualified, He qualifies the called, right?
Yeah, that is beautiful.
Yeah. I've
That
had
is
that happen to
wonderful.
me before when I asked for something, and then it just, one time because I was working all my life, but I felt like I wanted to do something, charitable wise, help somebody, volunteer somewhere. And lo and behold, that very week at church on the evening service, the secretary said, "Oh, we got this letter from the nursing home, and they'd like somebody to come and lead activities with people." I'm like, "I'll take that." And so, you know, it was great. I went to the nursing home every week, played bingo with them, and we just had the best time. It was like, you know, just gave it right to me then and there. Here it is.
That's
So,
beautiful.
yeah.
That's really, really wonderful.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So after last week's meditation, you said no, you had responded because I asked you how you felt, and you felt lighter. And I want to know how your week has been since we did that.
My week has been good, and actually, I tried to do that a couple of more times with Yeshua and Archangel Michael, and go through the same process again. So, yeah, I've had a pretty good week.
Wow, that's beautiful. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, it's us getting uplifted, and sometimes we get stuck and we just need a little push, a little opening.
right. Yeah,
Yes,
there. I think it was the weekend before last when I felt so down and just couldn't get out of that hole. And finally, it broke on Monday. And so things have been much better since then.
good, good.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's wonderful. Would you have any words of wisdom
Mm.
for people that are on their spiritual path and waking up more, that are recognizing the spiritual aspect and not the religious aspect? Any words of wisdom on their path and how the energy on the planet is so intense, different days, different things. Is there anything you can say?
Oh, I wish I did have some wisdom. I don't, I mean, I know the energy changes daily, hourly. I just, the only thing I could say is to listen and be aware. Because I'm sure we miss a lot of signals, a lot of intuitive messages that we all receive, and just ignore it, or you're too busy, or you're not paying attention. Um, that's the only thing I could say is just to pay attention to your intuition, to that little voice that whispers things to you.
That's really good. That's a good recommendation is listening, listening. You can get to the point where you think it, you get the answer immediately. The way to know if it's your intuition, you get out of your head. So the first answer you get, it is usually the right answer. It
Mhm.
is usually the correct one.
Yeah.
And working with clients, I have developed a way where I can ask a question and I'll know the answer. Especially if I'm working with a client. But it's not about me, it's about them. So I just use it as a gauge to see where they're at. But yes, we can do that. We can really tap in. And as I said, I do want to go over this one more time. If you're reading something online, you're hearing something, you're seeing a heading, the world predictions are coming to an end, or how politics are running us, how democracy is going away, how I could go on and on. But whatever it is, it's not very positive. And it is someone wanting to give you their point of view. It doesn't mean it's true.
Right.
One of my favorites when I was having a conversation with God, I said, God, why you're love, but why do you allow bad things to happen to good people? Basically, is what I said. And then, and I worded it different, like, why disease? Why do these floods? Why does this happen and children die? Why, what connection? And then I said, what about letting the manipulation? We have weather manipulation. Why is that being allowed? Like, why? And God said to me that it is the template of life to have free will. And God does not do anything to manipulate or to want. God has never caused anyone to have cancer. God has never hurt a child. God
Right.
has never done anything to have harmed another person, an animal, nothing. Nature, nothing. That with the free will comes with other people's responsibility of how they are going to react and what they're going to do. And then with manipulation to the weather, God's answer was, you have a choice if you're going to allow, if you're going to perceive it as manipulation or allow that. That is your choice. And it's what are we going to give power to? We give power to our anger. We give power to other people we're upset with. We're on a hamster wheel, but we're literally giving them our power. And so that is something we have to decide. But God's answer, oh my goodness, it's like, no, I haven't, I don't do any of that. So to get help from God, and Kathy, you have a way. So why don't you, when you have questions to God, how do you go about asking God?
I just ask him.
Okay, so let me reword this.
Okay, I'm not sure what to say.
Well, I didn't tell you what okay. Yeah. I wanted you to give your input. So was having a conversation with the angels, archangels, and so forth. And the point, Archangel Michael says this. This is for everybody. You may not know this, Kathy, and you already might know it naturally. But Archangel Michael says, and the other angels, that we're here to help you all the time. But we can't do anything unless you ask for our help. So, all you millions of people that believe in something greater than yourself, all you billions of people, whatever it is, that believe in God, that believe in angels, believe in a higher power, you have to ask for help if you want help because we have free will. You're not going to get your answers from God if you don't ask. Next, number two, that's the first pointer. You have to ask. Number two is if you start your conversation and your conversation continues with negativity, it can't be answered because our Creator, all the angels, our soul, every bit of help that's out there is if we're getting help from non-duality, the purest energy, they can't relate to that. They only come in love. So if you want help from the angels, you might ask, I would like more support. I want to feel your love. I want to know your love. I'm scared. So you don't want to focus on that in all this drama. You want to say, I really would like your help. So you've got to turn it in to more of a neutral, positive way. And I suspect you do that automatically.
Yeah, I may do that without consciously thinking about it. And I know one thing too that comes to mind that is very effective is, you know, it's just human nature to try to do everything yourself, to try to fix the problem yourself, to try to take care of the problem yourself until you finally get to the point, okay, there's nothing I can do about this. And then you turn to God. And I know one time at church they were saying, asking, what is your favorite passage in the Bible? And I said the simple phrase, thy will be done, in the Lord's Prayer, because I saw that perform miracles. Once you say to God, I'm turning this over, whatever you think is best, your will be done, not mine, then you can really see things happen and quickly once we give up. We quit trying so hard and struggle back and forth to do it our way, how we want, what we want, and just turn it over, and God will do it.
That is a beautiful way to describe what to do and how to do it. And I did ask God why they're suffering, why children get cancer or why, people do. And he says it's a DNA. He didn't use the word DNA, but it is the body makeup of the ones that are involved. And so that goes back to our ancestors.
And
He
it's
did,
a lot because we live in this duality too, don't you
yes.
think, is that you have the good and
Yes.
bad, the yin and yang that causes so many problems.
Yes, and God is pure love, so God doesn't make anything bad happen. It just doesn't happen. So, thank you. Anything else you want to say before we end today's episode?
Hmm. I don't know of anything, Judy.
Okay, I will be hosting on Thursday a meditation that is live at 11:30 Eastern Standard Time. It'll last 30 minutes. It will be recorded. And I will be doing that every Thursday at 11:30 Eastern Standard Time. If you have an interest, reach out to me at support@judyyjewett.com. That is JUDYJEWETT.com. But that's, wait a minute. Yes, support@judyyjewett.com. That'll go to my Outlook email. And that way I can give you information and you can listen. The weeks that I can't make it until I have other people that want to come on board to do this and learn to do it and be comfortable doing it, I will pre-record the ones that I personally can't make in person. And so what I'm here to do is to help uplift, help inspire, so you have a terrific week and help raise your energy for this most beautiful time of the planet. With that, thank you very much. You can also go to www.shieldsforlife.com, SHIELDS for life.com. You can learn about some shields that are to give you protection and do some wonderful things to help you when the shields go up. They're up for life, and you still have to pay attention. You still have to be mindful, right? I mean, God's not going to give it all to you because he's going to interfere with your lessons of why you're here to help you grow and to expand. But it does marvelous, marvelous. My life changed again. You know, we've had moments in our life of transformation, and when I received the shields, it was huge. And the soul lineage of clearing soul lineage stuff. So make sure you go there. You will learn. It is beautiful and wonderful. And with that, namaste. God bless you. You're wonderful. Have a most magical, wonderful week, and we will see you next week.